Hey, good day, folks. Welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Always excited to bring the news to you. But, folks, I am reading every single mainstream liberal media outlet right now, and they are all saying it's over. Mike Lindell is finished. He's done, kaput. There's just that's it. Okay, and I'm not kidding. I mean, I'm reading in the Independent UK right now. I can, Mike Lindell's in ruins and so on. So I thought, you know what, we're gonna find out what's really going on. We got to go to the source. So I'm gonna bring him on right now. We got Mike Lindell on the stream. Mike,
and I'm still standing, everybody. I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm just reading. I've been on the phone today with every news outlet in the world, calling in for their attacks. It's a twofold attack. They're doing one on the saying that I'm in ruins, and we'll talk about that in a second. The other one is Mike Lindell asked the IRS to review audit of my pillow, Mike Lindell. I mean, it's so I guess I'll start with the first one. So you guys here, a couple months ago, remember I'm getting sued by every machine company known to man because I wanted to go to paper ballots hand counted.
Yep.
And I've been sued for billions, and my employee-owned company that gets attacked every day. And Neil, I thank your audience for you. You guys stand by for the best specials ever, too, that we're going to give you guys today. Remember those $25 sheets and that Rev 7 energy drink? We all need to get through this with no sugar and no caffeine. You guys get your free trial pack at that while we're talking about this. Anyway, so Neil, to put this, because everybody's been calling asking me, these guys, Smartmatic, the one of the machine companies, our lawsuit, the way it's on pace, will probably go to trial in the year early 2028. Does everybody hear this? This started in 2021, everybody. 2028, okay? What it is, it's called lawfare. And they just want to bleed you dry of lawyer bills and depositions and this and that. So here's what Smartmatic did. They wanted the judge a couple months ago to take $60,000 and put it in escrow account until it gets to trial. So when they win, they could get that 60 grand. I mean, it's my mind.
Are they suing you for billions?
And you're suing me for billions. Okay.
Well, now why would $60,000 do anything for escrow?
Neil, this because at the same breath, they told the judge that I had $53 million in cash laying around in accounts. This is what they said. So my attorney and we said, I said, no, I'm not giving them this 60 grand to stick in an account for 2 years. I said, tell the judge they're lying. So he goes, well, so we put in this request to the judge, this hearing. Now, yesterday, everybody, let me tell you about this. It's myself, my attorney, Smartmatic's lawyer, and the judge in his chamber, okay? So we set it up so they would have to talk first. So they asked Smartmatic, where did you guys get this number of $53 million? And Smartmatic says, well, we got it in 2023, early 23 or late 22 from another case. In other words, and I'm going, well, I did have a lot of money back then, everybody, but I spent it on the country. I spent every dime trying to get rid of these machine companies and get to paper ballots hand counted. Everybody knows that. It's pretty common knowledge. So then the judge turns to my attorney, and the judge says to them, well, why do you want, what is the big deal? What is the big deal of, there's more people calling in. They're calling me all these news outlets, everybody. But anyway, so the judge then turned to my attorney and says, sir, this is not true. Mike Lindell doesn't have any cash. He has spent it all. I can attest to that. Then the judge turned to me finally, and he says, I'm kind of raising my hand going, and he goes, Mr. Lindell, what do you have to say to this? I said, sir, I drive a pickup truck. I have a couple houses I live in. And I said, that's it. I said, I don't eat with two forks. I said, I don't take a big paycheck. It's like $1,000 a week. I think I get $800 a week. That's what I get. I'm not, I don't have mortgage payments and stuff. There is that.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
said, this is what I do, I said, there's no cash, it's gone. I said, I spent it all. This lawfare, I said, sir, they're trying to ruin me with this lawfare. This is what they've been trying to do. So now, everybody.
I want to show you something real quick, Mike. Look at this headline. This is just, one, you are like all over the news right now. You're
Right.
like, because liberal media loves running this
Right.
out of the Independent. Tears on my pillow. Weeping pro-Trump conspiracy theorist Mike Lindell tells judge he has no money to pay fines. I'm in ruins. And then it goes on. This is the Independent, just total garbage rag.
Yeah, you guys, that's what they said. Mike Lindell was crying in court. I wasn't in court. I was talking to a judge. I'm not, believe me, I wasn't crying. Nothing's changed other than what they did. This was a setup. So Smartmatic leaked it to the press. They leaked it out there so they can write whatever they want. One of them says that I've already lost the case, you guys. This case we haven't even got to summary judgment. I'm not going to lose this case for the country. We're getting rid of these machines. We're going to paper ballots and count it. And I think, Neil, they turned up their attack because a couple weeks ago when Tulsi Gabbard came out and said, hey, there's problems with the machine. The president did his executive order. And so I just wanted to get on here and tell everybody, they've got all my employees worried now. In Minnesota, this Tribune, they're all doing hit jobs right now. They're just piling on. And then in the meantime, there's another one that came out, I think we all talked about, are the employee retention credits.
Yeah, the IRS. And well, I mean, if you would ask the IRS to look at that, I mean, that would be a reasonable request based upon what's happening to you there.
No, with the earned income credits, no. And I did ask them, and the IRS told me to ask the Treasury Department. So I sent an email to the Treasury Department and reached out, and so the media grabbed that and said that I'm trying to ask the Treasury Department that I've had too many audits. So there's the New York Times. Is this the New York Times? Okay, you want to do this? You're being recorded, just so you know, Andy.
That's fine.
Okay, so this is Andy for the New York Times. Andy, what can I do for you today?
Yeah, I'm just hoping to, I'm working on a story about this, request from the Treasury Department to the IRS, raising that you had received an audit letter this year for the second year in a row, and that you were worried about.
That's a complete. That's a complete lie, Andy. Here's the truth, and we'll see if the New York Times gets this right in their failing paper. Here's the truth. They're called earned employee retention credits. This came from everyone in this country. Anyone that stayed open during the pandemic, they got checks in 22, 23, and 24. Biden's IRS said, hey, you need to go back and report the money back in the years 20 and 21, even though you didn't receive the money then. So when I talked to the IRS guys, I talked to them directly and I said, hey, this is nonsense. I said, we already paid the taxes. Everybody would have in the year they got the checks. And the IRS guy straight out, his name is Jeff, said, well, Mike, this is wrong. It's wrong. It's going to be a lot of wasted time for people to redo their tax returns. Anybody that had a part of any company that stayed open that was a stockholder had to redo their taxes and pay taxes on something they already paid it in a year, in a future year, like we paid ours in 2022 for my pillow. So the IRS guy says, he goes, well, why don't you reach out to the Treasury Department and tell them how wrong this is? So I did. I reached out. I didn't get an answer back yet.
When was that?
Oh, that was I guess the IRS guy told me that about a month ago. I reached out to them first. I said, what do we do with this? I said, this wasn't an audit thing. It had nothing to do with that. This was me asking the IRS, because I know one of them from a previous audit I had 3 years ago. I said, Jeff, do you know with this employee retention credit? I said, the IRS or the government wants us to go back and everybody redo their taxes in the whole country. And he goes, yeah, it's terrible thing that's in there. He said, and I said, well, what can I do? He goes, you should reach out to the Treasury Department, see if they can get a change where you can do either report the year you got the check or the other year. I just reached out to the Treasury Department for answer. Is this what can we do for the country for all these companies that would have employees would have to redo their tax returns for nothing? And I haven't heard back yet.
So you're not being audited right now.
No, the audit was 3 years ago. The audit was 3 years ago, and that was for when I had a cure for the country for the pandemic. I had a supplement that worked, and the government wouldn't let me sell it. The FDA and Big Pharma stopped it, like ivermectin. So I had a $10 million of this product that got outdated, and back then I went to the IRS and said, I need to take the deduction now. So they just opened up an audit then. That was like 3 years or 4 years ago. But I got to know those agents pretty good because they took pictures of the product and everything. And so I reached back out to that agent a couple months ago and said, hey, what about these employee retention credits? It's like, it was a question I had for them. And he's the one that said, terrible. And he said, maybe, Mike, your name, maybe reach out to the Treasury Department, see if they could get it changed so the country doesn't have all these resources wasted on frivolous things like redoing all these tax returns when the money's already been paid by all these companies. It affects everybody in the country that stayed open during the virus. Everybody, you know what these are, right? The employee retention credits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so let's say that your company, let's say you had a company and you received your checks in 23, you just put them on as income, you added them on, the taxes were paid, of course, with the company. Now, if you're a stockholder in that company that got a K-1, it's already reflected in there. And now what the IRS says, oh no, we want you to go back and put that income in 20 and 21, even though you didn't receive any income there. So that would make employees, everybody would have to redo not just 1 year tax return, every year affects the subsequent year. So you would be, if you got them last year, some companies didn't get them till last year, they'd have to redo 5 tax return years for every employee. It's just nonsensical government waste. And I really want to try and get this rectified.
I really want to try and get this rectified.
For the country, well, hold it, for the country, not just, not just my pillow. I don't just stop and fix. I want the whole problem fixed. I don't, just because it affects my pillow that we'd have to go redo the tax return. I want the whole country to know this is a big waste of time when the taxes have already been paid on this. So that's all I'm asking for. I want to help the country, everybody, not just fix my a personal problem or my own company. This is who I am. This is why when I with these machine companies to get to paper ballots hand counted, as you rightly know at the New York Times, I will never stop talking to get to that point. And now the government's finally coming out and say, hey, what a concept. We should go to paper ballots hand counted. Might be a little more secure. Surprise, surprise. But you guys keep attacking all your media outlets because you enjoy it. You enjoy attacking Mike Lindell, and God bless you. Keep it up. I'm never going to stop talking.
Did you raise your some of this these issues with the employee retention credit? Have you raised this with the president directly, or?
No, this was sent to the Department of Treasury. I'm waiting to hear back from them. I talked to the IRS first. I reached out to the IRS first because this is coming from them. And they said, we're just following what Biden put into effect, which is another nonsense, crazy, thing. Great, reward people that stayed open and fought through the pandemic. But you know what? Then you got to redo all your taxes and all this time and tied up for agents and people's going back and having to, pay taxes in a year, redo your taxes. So his advice was to reach out to the Treasury Department, which is what I did. But now, would I like to raise it with the president? Sure, but I'm sure he would probably just say, go to the Treasury Department. This is where they need to fix it. I did hear from somebody there that worked there, this was at my email that he said, yeah, that I said, I reached out to them. I said, I haven't heard back. He said, I said, it's about the employee retention credits. He goes, here's his exact quote. That's the biggest mess I've ever heard or that they've ever seen. He said, it's an absolute mess because some people are going to redoing their taxes. Some people aren't. I mean, nobody knows what to do, and it would be nonsensical for everybody in the country that did, stayed open to have to redo the tax. The taxes have already been paid, Andy, just so you know that. Everybody paid their taxes, whether they paid it in the year they got the checks or they redid their taxes and paid it in that previous year. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, so basically you wanted to raise this concern about having to amend previous returns for the employee retention tax credit to folks at the Treasury Department, and then
Right.
it seems like maybe something got lost in translation in terms of what the Treasury Department meant.
Yeah, the previous one, I think it was the Wall Street or the Washington Post said, I go, what do you mean I'm getting audited? I said, I'm not getting audited. I said, I already was audited. That was 3 years ago. I said, I reached out to the IRS. In my request to the Treasury Department was, I talked to the IRS and it was very much lost in translation. That's why I'd like to talk to a live person there because, when you send an email, it was a request to talk to someone to, explain this problem. It's very easily explainable. Like I just explained to you, why would everyone go through all this? It would take so much resource of people and what a pain to be able to have to go back and everybody redo years of taxes when they've already paid the tax, regardless of which year they put it in. But yeah, I'm sorry your big story isn't there that I'm, now am I getting audited in Minnesota for my recovery network and stuff by Keith Ellison? I mean, he's asked for stuff for that. It's not really an audit. He's just trying to go into my charities and see this is where I put in 100% of the money and getting people off drugs. I used to be a crack cocaine addict and getting people off drugs to Jesus Christ. And all of a sudden he came in with his big attack. That's the Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison. But I don't know if you'd call that an audit. It's just him, let's just go attack Mike Lindell and let's go after his recovery network, which he's put in 100% of the money. They couldn't believe it when they found out I'm the one that put in all the money. And I think I even missed a deduction that I could have taken that I didn't take. I haven't heard back from them. I think they're embarrassed about even coming after me and attacking me. It's such a crazy, trying to do good and help people, and then I get attacked for it. It's just ridiculous.
Okay. And on the employee retention credit, have you ever talked to Billy Long about this issue? He's going to be the next IRS commissioner.
I don't know who that is, but no, I talked to the IRS directly but I don't know who that is.
Got it. Okay.
I'm not in the habit of calling the IRS, but this is so ridiculous. I figured I better help not just my pillow. I mean, we paid ours, but ours is paid, but to have other companies have to go through this. I talked to a friend of mine. He's got a company and they haven't even got their checks yet, but they expect them any day. And I said, you realize you'd have to go back and do 6 years of tax returns? He goes, that's what my accountant said. He goes, and I said, I don't even know if it's worth it to redo 6 years of tax. I guess it's worth it. Money's money, but it's just such a waste of time and resources of people and companies. You know what I mean?
All right. And just the audit you said you did have about the medical treatment you had. Is that resolved? Is that over?
No, all that is whether what we had is I had all the vials that got outdated at the end of 2020 because the government wouldn't let us sell. It's kind of like an ivermectin. They wouldn't let us, you can't sell them, whatever. So we gave them away. It saved a lot of lives and it kept a lot of companies open because it worked. It was amazing. It worked. But we took pictures of it. We had it all. I kept all the vials. We want to use the argument was I wanted to use that deduction because I lost $10 million trying to help the country. The IRS wants me to put the the deduction in 2022 when the company I was dealing with actually went under that and went under, or closed down, where I want to take the deduction in 2020 when I actually lost my money personally that I put in $10 million. So they came in and took pictures and everything. I kept all of it to show them, and they just haven't made their decision yet. So it's just pending their decision, which the IRS is very slow in making their decision. It's not that it's whether I can use the deduction then or in 22. That's all.
Okay.
Wait, once again, Andy, trying to do something good for your country you live in to help people, and I get hammered for it. It's just disgusting. You guys should actually write something good about me once in the New York Times. Then the president wouldn't call you the failing New York Times maybe anymore.
Well, I'll.
Have you read my book? You should read my book. A couple guys did from the New York Times, and your editor wouldn't print it because they couldn't say anything bad about me knowing who I was. I'm just a person. I had never voted in my life. I was an ex-crack cocaine addict. And because of the American dream, I found the Lord and went out, and that's all I was before all this was going out and getting people, speaking in churches and all over the country and helping people. My Pillow donated tens of millions of dollars of product to people with hurricane victims or whatever. And then, boy, as soon as I go against the voting machine companies, you guys have done nothing but attack me and just put me as like I'm this scum guy over here, this election conspiracy guy. Gee, I want paper ballots hand counted. It's not the end of the world. You guys should live with that. And I don't know what side of the political aisle. This has nothing to do with politics. I want secure elections in our country so that I've lived the American dream. I want other people to have those freedoms and rights to do that. I don't mind who gets elected as long as they're not selected, that they're really elected.
Got it. Well, I'll keep that on mind, but I should jump for the moment. But thanks
Okay.
for giving me a call.
Yep. See, he was getting tired of talking to me, Neil. That's what they do, because I filibust them, everybody. I sit there and tell them stuff. Now, you guys understand, he lost his story there. He's very disappointed because he lost his story. The story out there was I reached out to the Treasury Department because I'm getting audited too much. Oh, I feel targeted. I'm getting audited too much. Everybody knows that I'm getting targeted. He lost his story because the real story is I want to help the country with these employee retention credits and get this rectified. It should be, this is ridiculous. Nobody should have to go do, here, Neil, here's a little check from the government for you being a good person and staying open. But by the way, you got to redo 5 years of tax returns and maybe pay tax on the year 2020 when you didn't even get the money then.
Yeah.
Maybe your position changed. Maybe you've spent that money by now that you didn't know back then. And now you get a bill in the mail from the IRS. You're going to go, you know what? This is wrong. Who are you going to go to? The IRS? That's what I did. And they said, even the IRS said it was wrong, everybody. But I know somebody. I know a guy. So I went to the Treasury Department first. If I get it closed out there, will I bring this to the president? Absolutely, I will. This is nonsense. This is what he's fighting for. Get rid of this nonsense.
Yes. Well, I can't even believe you got a hold of anybody at the IRS, because when I call, I can't get anybody there.
Right. Well, see, I have a direct contact because I was audited.
That's
so
right.
Once again, trying to help the country. I've got 3 of them of the personal, here, I can call them up right now. When he asks you, to so-and-so, the top of the IRS, this comes from, they're just following the laws that come out of the Treasury Department. This is what he said. You have to get it changed there so that they can do it. You can deduct it any year that you got the check. So anyway, but that's
so here you are trying to fix elections. Now you're trying to fix the IRS, but I'm actually, I'm on the road when I find out this news. I'm in Floodwood, Minnesota in a friend's hotel room. I mean, it's really cool. She owns the hotel here in Floodwood, goes to our church. She let me use her Wi-Fi and everything. But I'll probably have to clear out of here pretty soon. I got my son Jacob in the back. You can hardly see him because he's back here.
I heard he loves the sheets. I heard he loves our sheets. That's the president's favorite too.
Jacob, how are those sheets?
They're pretty sick.
They're pretty sick. He says that's how kids talk, Mike.
Yeah.
He did.
Well,
The other morning,
I thank you for getting on, but this is, I just want everyone, because everyone was concerned out there, and you know what? Your audience has been one of our biggest supporters, and I know we've had, and you all guys all responded for those $25 sheets. I want to say more. Those are split king size, queen size. It don't matter the size. Those are hard to find sizes. The California Kings, all these 11 colors, and we're putting them all out to the public rather than those box stores that canceled us. There's the closeout sale, those $25 sheets. And you guys I can't say it enough. You see me all riding a bike the other day. This Rev 7 energy drink that you're saving 30%. You get a trial 3-pack absolutely free, you guys. That trial, so many people have signed up. They're going, boy, I wish I would have ordered 12 packs right away instead of just trying it. I just was on another podcast about an hour and a half ago when all this news is breaking in, but she was intent on, she didn't go, we got to talk about the news and that. She goes, Mike, I just took this Rev 7. She goes, it's a different kind of
it's a different kind of energy. It's a different kind of
no
energy.
jitters, there's no come down, everybody, no caffeine, no sugar. So it's like a mental clarity. I don't know how best to describe it. It's like being in Neil, you're probably going to love it when you're out fishing because you're getting mental clarity and outsmarting them fish, right? And
I'll take them with me out to the Elk Mountains, man. I'll be carrying extra weight in my pack just so I can have Rev 7 with me. Usually I just drink water from a spring, but not this year. I go elk hunting and I have Rev 7s. You stick them in the pack. Every gallon of water weighs 8 pounds, but I won't care because I'll have so much energy. I'll be dragging it up the mountain.
Right on. I'm finding I'm drinking a lot less coffee too now that I've been taking this for so long. It just gets my mind clear right away. And you guys, I get up, everyone says, well, Mike, you don't need any more energy. No, for me, I need more clarity. I'm always up. What you see is what you get. You know me, I'm always energized, but it's having energy that's clarity. I have to go every second of every day, what to leave in, what to leave out, there's got things going on over here, but I've got to also think about over here. So for me, it's been a godsend. And when I met these guys back in August, for my pillow to be, chosen to be one of the distributors of this is a blessing. And I said, if it helps people, I want to be able to sell it, get it to the public. So I figure you guys, you're in a big industry there. And that's why I want to give you the free pack trial. Just try it. If you don't like it, Neil, I haven't heard one negative yet. We sold a lot on yours the other day and on your podcast, and the customers that are calling back now because they get their free trial and they're upping their time span, going, hey, I need some today. We're saying, well, what did you think? It's over the top. People that and I like the taste. The taste for me, that apple one's my favorite.
Yeah.
And you guys,
I like the blueberry lemon too. I like the blueberry lemon, but I think
my thing is I take, I do one, couple a day. There's some days I do a little more than others, but it's become I'm in my
pre-workout drink. That's the big thing for me.
That's a big thing. That's what I was going to say too. Riding that bike, I don't usually do that and ride a bike. And for you guys, this is what's in there that's different is this ketone BHB. They have a patent on that, and ketones are very important to the body. It's the best fuel the body needs. Anybody that's been in any kind of exercise stuff knows your body needs a glucose or ketone. And this has, I don't know how many times the energy of sugar. I believe it. I think it says it even on the can, but you guys, it's just a different type of, there it is. Look at that right there. There you got all those good things here. Caffeine free, Go
what
BHB.
What is cognizant? What's cognizant?
GMO. That's another good ingredient that's in there. That and the BHB. Those are the two most important ingredients, you guys. those are the most important because those things actually help your brain, not just give you energy, they help your brain for clarity and all this other stuff. Now, there's a lot of stuff I can't say because of restrictions that you can't say, even though there's clinical studies. Look at that right there, everybody, that checklist. This how it compares to other leading brands. I mean, it's just mental energy crashes. I mean, all these things, no stimulants, no sugar, no caffeine, contains BHB. But like I say, if you even take the energy out of there, and these are things, there's so many studies, you guys, they kind of had to make a choice. Do we just call it a health drink or an energy drink? Because it really does both. And it's not just what I want to tell you, it's not just what the energy drink industry, when it was all came out, I was hammering them down. It was so full of sugar. I was actually gaining weight more than I am now from all those things. But
well, those things are awful.
Then they came out with no sugar. You see it all over the stores. You go in there, no sugar, contains no sugar. So great, you got rid of that. But this Rev 7 isn't just what it doesn't have, the sugar and caffeine, it's what it does have. And that's those ketones, the BHB, and that word I can't say, it's cognitive or whatever that word is.
Mike, I guess one of the big things so I had, I might have shared this story before, I can't remember, but I had a friend and they shared a Rain energy drink with me. And so I got jittery, but not only that, it upset my stomach. Okay. Right. These do not upset my stomach. I mean, it doesn't, like, I don't know what the heck is in that where it just,
Hey, Neil, I've tested that because I try everything to an extreme at least once. So I took a 12 pack in my office. I'm going, I just want to see, because he goes, oh no, you can drink them if you wanted to, like soda or something. Now, did I stay clear longer? I don't know, but I will say this: I didn't get sick or feel sick because I took too much,
Yeah.
And I don't know how many I had, but my assistant Caitlin's going, this is like your fifth one. I go, yeah, I'm doing some testing. I have to do some testing for my customers.
I gotta say this, Caitlin, and I know she's probably not listening, but man, I mean, that girl, she is. I'm like, how do you do it, Caitlin? She goes, I just keep doing, Neil.
She's got to keep everything in line, all of my appointments and everything. And what am I, I'll tell you, when she came on, it was such a blessing because I told her, I said, you're never bothering me. I said, if I just, because I had a tendency back then, if I get focused on something, I'm staying focused. Nothing else matters. I got to get, but she will sit out there for a timer going, no, you need to go do this right now. No. And I said, you're never bothering me.
She texts me when it's time for you to get out I'm surprised I haven't gotten one here yet.
She is very good. It's such a blessing to have a great executive assistant, and she's been amazing. And there's a lot of employees I have like that too, and you guys, my employees I've had like Dawn, and you deal with Dawn all the time too. And with and Nick and Ben and Darren, I mean, all of them, all my employees, even for my manufacturing employees, my production, my shipping, we're like a big family. And to see like what's happened today, they come out and attack us. I'm getting texts from my employees going, are we done? Is it over? Because they've been fighting this for how long? I go, no, we're still standing, just like the song. We're still standing. Like, remember that Elton John song?
Yeah.
I'll tell you that when I did the president's rallies, that's how they did the intro when I would come out, and it was so epic that in spite of them attacking, and I give God the glory that it's been like a force field around it, but if it wouldn't be for you guys all out there buying the products and keeping my pillow going, it all starts there. I can't focus over here. They're attacking my pillow, so I'm distracted every day to try and, so my pillow stays in a great shape for the employees and keeps going. If if you do think if they destroyed my pillow that they'd stop attacking, of course they would. They want me to shut up. Mike Lindell, shut up. And they probably wish, Neil, that back in January of 21, that they would, if they'd have known now what they didn't know then, they'd have probably just shot me and said, you know what, we can't have this voice screaming to the top of his lungs to secure our elections, and because I never stopped and I never will. But once again, I want to thank all of you. Remember to use that promo code Lumberjack. Help my employees, help them to secure. Call the 800-568-2865. You guys call them now. Get those sheets any size. Save them for presents. Buy them for the neighbors. They're $25 a set. Split kings, king size, queen size. The best sheets you'll ever own in history. You're never going to get a price like this. It's because we were canceled.
Well,
get those and get those energy drinks free. That trial pack or my crosses. Here's another one, everybody. You save 30% on my crosses. All the women's, you guys that have been waiting out there, the women's now is in. They're reversible, adjustable, sterling silver. You guys, they're made in the USA. That's why I waited so long. People say, Mike, when we on crosses like yours, I go, I want to be able to make them here. And finally, we're able to. So you guys, there it is. You get the towels up there in the left corner. All the kitchen towels and everything, as low as $9.99 for the war cloths and everything. These are wholesale prices with promo code Lumberjack.
That's right.
mypillow.com/lumberjack. You guys help yourself. Do all your shopping now for everything. We have stuff that you wouldn't even, people come up to you all the time, Neil. They go, I have every product you have, Mike. I'm all behind you. I said, we have over 300 products. Look at all the kitchen utensils, you guys. We have pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, you name it. I mean, would you think My Pillow has all this? No, this is amazing. You guys get on board and do all your shopping here first. And then you guys, another thing too, my entrepreneurs, I have over 1,000. I think it's upwards of 1,800 now. USA entrepreneurs at mystore.com. Promo code Lumberjack. You guys can shop over there too. There's so many products over there. There's thousands of them, but they have one thing in common, Neil. Made in the USA.
Yeah. Do you know, Mike, I will say I love your sheets. But I will take exception to one thing. You said the percales are the best. No, the best sheets you'll ever own are the Giza sheets. That's like, I got Jacob those Giza sheets, the ones that he just said, there he is back there. Well, right there on the sofa back there. But, and he said that they're sick. And like literally he was like oversleeping because he didn't want to get out of those Giza sheets, man.
No, so that is true. And that is our president's favorite product are the Giza Dream Sheets. And that's one I personally developed myself, everybody, years ago. The best cotton in the world between the Nile River, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Sahara Desert, where the growing conditions are perfect for what? Cotton. Perfect for one crop cotton, where the staples grow longer, stronger, better. And everyone says, well, Mike, why don't you get here the cotton here in the U.S. and that? You guys, because they don't have the cotton here. It's like being a diamond mill. If we don't have diamonds here, the cotton has to, and there's no weavers or spinners left in the United States. I tried to get the last one, years ago, and I had all this money to buy it, and they wouldn't even sell it. It was a family owned, the last one to leave this country. But, we can pray that hopefully the weavers and spinners will come back here during all these times. But all I said, you know what, if I got to make sheets overseas, I want to make the best ones in history. So I went and developed them myself. What goes into a sheet and all these things. We added a satin sheen, and they are the best sheets. If it hit, you know what I'm telling everyone, that is the warning. That's the one product that if you have that's the one you're going to lay in bed and go, I don't want to get out of bed this morning. Pull up the covers and say,
get yourself
just another hour.
You need a Rev 7 or a coffee. Well, Mike, I should let you get going. You got the press calling you like mad over this.
Yeah, the press is calling. There's the lawyers and presses. This one's a lawyer, everybody.
All right.
But it's a good lawyer. This one's a good lawyer. So God bless y'all. Thank you. Thanks for having me on, Neil. And thank you guys out there. Promo code Lumberjack. We're not going anywhere. My Pillow's here. My employees, thank you. We thank you, Neil. You got one of the best podcasts ever on TV. Thanks for taking the time on your trip to do this, and tell your son we're going to send him an extra Giza Dream Sheets.
They're sending you more sheets, son.
Tell him to pick out a good color.
All right.
See ya.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
All right. Love you, man. Bye.